Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of In-Laws and Out of Bounds. I'm your host, Hagan, with our other host, Emilio, and joined today by Hondo's athletic director and head football coach, Dustin Templin. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well.
Doing all right.
We appreciate you being here and being part of our local spotlight segment that we've got going on. And I know there's a lot of folks that are excited to learn about Hondo football and all that. So we're looking forward to it for sure. I guess just to dive in and get going, Coach, if you don't mind, for the folks that don't know you, maybe will you just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, your coaching journey, and what got you into coaching as well?
Sure. Oh man, I don't know how much time you got. I'll try to keep it brief. No, I've been at Hondo now for 6 years. I came here as the defensive coordinator in 2020, and I took over as a head coach AD in 2022. Before here, I was at Port Neches Groves in Southeast Texas for 11 years. Before that, I was at Granbury for a year, Hardin Simmons University as a graduate assistant for a couple of years. If you say, like, how did I get into coaching? Man, it's kind of a long story. I'll keep it pretty short. It's not something I wanted to do my entire life. In college, I was going down a different career path and ended up reading a book called Wild at Heart by a guy named John Eldredge. And in there, he says, don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, because what the world needs are men who come alive. And I got to thinking, what makes me come alive, and working with kids and, helping improve the lives of kids and pouring into them and doing it through sports. That's what makes me come alive. So that changed the course of my life and my career. And that's how I ended up here where I am now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Getting to Hondo and coming over here, coming from Southeast, like you said, what made you come over here? And then when you got the opportunity to be the, head football coach, athletic director, what did that mean to you personally, getting that opportunity?
So, what originally got me here, I guess my mom had a friend that was from Hondo, that I pretty much grew up knowing, and kind of grew up with her kids, even though we weren't in the same town. We would come together for vacations and, I don't know, family events, things like that. So I'd heard of Hondo pretty much my whole life. And the head coaching job came open in 2020, when Coach Ratliff left. At that time, my parents were living in Central Texas, just a little bit north of Austin. My mom was in bad health, and I wanted to get back closer to them. I wanted to bring my kids closer to their grandparents, both my side and my wife's side. So Hondo ended up hiring Jodell Carey, who was a good friend of mine, who I'd coached with at Port Neches Groves for several years. And so I called him up and said, hey, man, you need a defense coordinator. And luckily he did. And things worked out, brought me here to Hondo, and Coach Carey was here for, just a little under 2 years or so, and he left. And to tell the truth, whenever Coach Carey got the job, I had applied also, and they had chosen him over me. So I'd already tried for it at least once, right? And so we'd fallen in love with the town in the meantime, and I wanted to stay around and kind of put my stamp on the program a little bit. So that's what we've been doing for the last 4, I guess, going on 5 years now.
Very nice. Very nice. Milo, you got anything before I keep taking over everything?
No, Coach, we've interviewed a handful of coaches now, and we both grew up in small towns and played small 1A football. And, there's a lot of pride and passion amongst the community, and everybody wants to reclaim whatever they once had, whether it was 1965 or 2005. How do you deal with that at a program like Hondo that has a very rich tradition and a proud history?
Oh man, that's a good question. I guess I'm not going to say I always deal with it the best way, but I came from a place. Like I said, I was at Port Neches Groves for 11 years, and you want to talk about a rich tradition? Like, that's a really rich tradition. I think they're at 8 state title appearances with 4 titles. I've only been in small towns. I've only been in one-horse towns, and that's all I ever want to be in. I grew up in a one-horse town. One junior high feeding into to the high school. That's all I want. And there's goods and bads that come with it, like you said. there's some, well, maybe some people a little bit stuck in their ways, but I'll take that over a big city any day. The Friday nights when there's nothing else to do in town anyway, so come on down to the football game. That's what I want. It kind of makes me sad to watch video and games of some bigger schools that really have no one in the stands. I want the entire town here, and they say fan is short for fanatic, and that's true. And there's good fanatic, and there's a little bit tougher to deal with fanatic, but that's just part of it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, 100%. I hear you. When you took over, what was something that you tried to establish when you first took over, and with the culture that you have built, right? You have had success. If you look at over the past couple seasons, right? You made a good playoff run last year. I know you didn't probably go as far as you would hope to, but with an 8-3 record, you lost every single game. A couple of those games you lost 1, 2, and then 7 points, right? So all within one possession. What has brought you to that point in the culture that you've built and things, to get there?
That's a complicated question as well. But one of the biggest things that I noticed, and I had I was fortunate enough, I guess, to be here in a different role for 2 years before taking over as a head coach. So I was able to observe and see some things that I would like to change and build on. But one of the big things I felt like when we first got here was there was a lot of not just football, but a lot of other sports where, our kids played hard. They did. And we're very, very fortunate to have that. But they often, I felt like they showed up they played and they were going to play hard. They didn't have that expectation to win. Like we're here to win. And that's something that has been a big emphasis. Playing the game's fun, but winning is a whole lot more fun. So we everything we do, we're focusing obviously on winning, not just playing hard. We've got that down like that. We're pretty good at playing hard. But that expectation of winning, and now, moving forward, one of our I think Hondo has the record maybe for most playoff appearances of any high school in Texas, I believe. If it's not number one, it's up there. But we got to take the next step. That's been a big focus this offseason. And, I feel like maybe we've kind of gotten to the point where, hey, we made the playoffs and, we've checked that box. We're good. Like that's not the case. So we're big emphasis is teams to remember play in December. So that's our goal. We want to be practicing on Thanksgiving. We want to be playing in December. So we're trying to take that next step. We've taken one pretty good step, but we need to take that next leap to make a good long playoff run. Like you said, we had several close games that we lost by 1, lost by 2, lost by 7. And those are heartbreaking. You can look at it a couple of different ways. We're in them. And we got to find a way to get over that. There's been several that, if you look at same kind of thing, we won by 1, 2, 7. They were close. It could have gone the other way. We could have been whatever 11-0 almost, right? But at the same time, we could have been 5-6. So just pulling out those close games and making a long playoff run is the focus moving forward.
That is perfectly. You already answered my next question of what a successful Hondo football team, or season looks like there. And December football that's something everybody wants to strive for 100%. I know that. Kind of getting away from a program overview, I guess, and everything, looking at this season and these 2026 Hondo Owls, what excites you the most about this year's team?
Oh, man. I think, just having a new group every year is kind of exciting. And that's kind of one of the fun, exciting, nerve-wracking, challenging things as being a coach, right? Is every team has their own personality. Every team has their own positives, negatives, strengths, weaknesses. And we're just trying to figure out a way, to capitalize on those strengths and to minimize those weaknesses right now. And sometimes you get it figured out pretty early on. Sometimes it takes a little while. I'm really excited about last year. Our secondary was really, really young. You go back and look at our playoff game, and we held our opponent to negative rushing yards until like the last play of the game. And we set a school record for sacks, but we gave up well over 300 yards in the air. And credit, Ingram, they had a great quarterback. They had great receivers. And it was difficult on our young guys. We had several freshmen out there and sophomores. Now they've got a season under their belt, and we're kind of giving them a little bit of freedom to kind of make some decision stuff, even on how we cover things and coverages and things like that. And they get it, and it's cool to watch that and let them kind of have that feedback. But I mean, and also we return a lot of our offensive line and our backs. We have a stable of running backs that I'm excited to use. There's probably 4 or 5 of them that I'm not scared to hand the football to, and they each bring their own little aspect to the game. So offensively, I guess, pretty excited about the O-line and the backs, and defensively, especially that secondary.
Just to piggyback off the offensive line and running backs, what's your favorite running play to run? Just as an off-the-wall
block
question.
Down, kick out. Let's go.
There you go. All right. Yeah. There you go. You got something, Emilio?
No, Coach, you talked about your backs also. Just to follow up, I think one of your running backs is an all-state running back that you're returning.
What type of graduated? Barr, he
that
graduated.
One graduated.
Yes,
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
How do you feel those type of shoes then? Moving forward
with 4 or 5 guys, you don't play with 1, 4 or 5 helps out. Yeah. No, I mean, really, he got the vast majority of the carries last year because he was a really, really good player, and we threw the ball to him a bunch because he was a do-it-all, all-purpose guy. This year, we've got some backs that can catch. We got some that they struggle a little bit, but they do a really good job of putting their head down and going and getting a first down and whatnot. So, you don't replace somebody like Mason Barr. You just do your best to try to fill the role and possibly fill it with 4 or 5 guys.
There you go. Yeah. What are some players that fans should be excited about or keep their eyes on coming into the season, even if it's younger players? Anything?
Oh man, I mean, I hate to say we have a bunch, but several, returners. Defensively, Andrew Tapia was defensive MVP of our district, and he's back. He will see more time on the offense. He's one of those that's a really, really good running back. But we had Mason last year, so we didn't have to use him that much. We'll use him a lot more this year. Joby Pimentel, he plays linebacker and running back as well. He brings a little bit different aspect. Andrew's more of the downhill guy. Joby's kind of your medium downhill / bouncing around. Jaden Moats, running back as well. He's a little bit more of a scat back kind of guy. We got a couple others like that too. In our secondary and receivers, Cade Alvoit was a freshman this last year, and he was a go-get-it jump ball guy. Had a great freshman season, and then played really well on defense as well. He wasn't afraid, obviously, to cover, but to actually go tackle guys. He's one of the few that we had that would pick somebody up and drive them into the dirt, and that's pretty cool to see from a freshman. Nolan Graff was a freshman last year in the secondary, and he's come along a long ways as well. And I mean, I could go on and on and on because a lot of those guys, like I said, are back. We've had to replace some linebackers, and we've had to replace our quarterback. So those are 2 really big spots, and we're still battling out, figuring out. We got several good players, but gotta figure out who the best ones are and how to utilize them the best.
That was one of the things that came to mind. Our previous 2 segments or episodes in this segment, both programs have been trying to replace a quarterback, and we're having quarterback battles. So we got another one going in Hondo this 2 days.
I've been very, very fortunate when I took over in 22, let's see here, 23, 24, right? We had a pretty good, a little bit of experienced quarterback, definitely varsity experience, some in some other situations, but definitely had varsity experience, at least playing some receiver and secondary, and DJ Richter. And he was a great quarterback, run, throw, great quarterback. And he took over for a couple of years, and about halfway through his senior season or so, he got hurt, unfortunately. So we had his backup went in, Colton Alvarez, and pretty much finished off the season. And then Colton, returns for the next year, which was last year. And now Colton's out. So I've been fortunate the last 4 years to have somebody that really had a pretty good, a lot of experience, that were pretty seasoned guys. And now we don't. So it's been a little bit of a battle. The guy who had really stuck out to this point, unfortunately, he got a little injured in fall camp, so he's out. and don't know for how long or anything just yet, but you can kind of see the younger ones. It almost looks like blood in the water. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to go after this spot. That's fun to watch. You watch
Yeah,
kids and anybody go compete. That's fun to watch.
100%. Yeah. When and speaking about quarterbacks and we've talked about the running backs. For those that don't know Hondo, what is your offensive philosophy look like? Your defense, what do y'all run, right? Just to,
Okay.
I guess, to break it down for folks.
So we'll be slightly different this year. Not a lot. We have a new offensive coordinator, and really we mostly base out of the shotgun, which people tend to think that means you're a spread aired out team. That's not us. Even last year with the old offensive coordinator, we were shotgun, and we were almost a 70% run team. It was like 65% run. This year, having a little bit less experience at quarterback and whatnot, right? Like we'll still be similar. We're going to run power. We're going to run counter. We're going to run some zones, but we'll do a little bit more misdirection and whatnot, even in the passing game, whether that's bootlegs or screens and things like that. So just kind of help. When you got a younger guy, you want to help them get high percentage throws in and things, and not put too much on their plate. Defensively, we've been a little bit different every year too. I handle the defense, and I've always been under the philosophy that it's high school football and you don't get to recruit. So I just kind of take what you got. If you have more big bodies, you put more on the D line. If you got, not quite as many, then you put less on the D line and more linebackers. So this year we're going to be a 3-4. We were a 3-4 this last year, and I say that, but we're pretty multiple. We'll walk guys down and bring a lot of pressure and stuff from different sides. So we'll blitz into a 4-down defense pretty often.
Milo?
Yeah, Coach, you talked about having a new offensive coordinator. What type of changes does he bring to the table that you think will add juice to this offense for you this upcoming year?
The biggest juice is probably going to be we're going to get under center some. Hondo, you talk about old school tradition and the people around, like they've wanted to see us under center for a while. And I've been back and forth on it, and he came in and said, Coach, are you good if we get under center? So I'm like, yeah, I'm great. You might get a standing ovation the first time we do it on Friday night. So, we're going to do that. But he also, we do some shifts and a decent amount of motions and things. Again, a lot of window dressing. And it's on purpose, but that kind of stuff we haven't done as much in the past.
That's awesome. You talk about, the not the criticism, but the critiquing, I guess, and then getting the standing ovation. The relationship between the community and a football program is huge, right? And one like Hondo, Coach Steitler, who we had on last time, talked about the alumni being very involved in the program. It seemed like at Hondo, like wanting to come back and just talk to the kids or whatever. And that kind of what kind of support have you received from, and have you seen from the community and the school and all that in this football?
We have great support.
And I guess maybe athletics, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, we do. I mean, for the school district for sure, but definitely also athletics. Like we have great support. Our businesses, I mean, they go out of their way to help us out, and we don't always have to ask them for things. And same thing for the alumni. We have people want to do donations and how do they support the program. They'll call the office, and that's nice. Not to have to go knocking door to door on those things, but that really shows how much they care. We put signs out, and my goodness, if the signs for the kids or players or whatever aren't out in time, then we're getting phone calls from community members and stuff like, when are we getting them out? And that's good. That's one of those good things. That's the thing that makes Texas high school football and small town Texas high school football unique and fun to be a part of.
Yeah, 100%. Yep, 100%. No, that's great. Sometimes you could get the if you could get that, because there could be the appearance of being somewhat of a part of or wanting to support your high school, as a uncool thing, right? I guess. So having that community involvement and that alumni could be, it's not saying that you're sitting there living in your glory days, right? So to speak,
Right.
writing saying, Coach, I can put some pads on and come practice with you.
I guess I might have gotten that a couple of times. Maybe there's a few we could use, but they're out of eligibility. But yeah,
that's awesome. So expectation and goals. You're your district didn't change much this year, right? I think you dropped Bandera out of the district is about, and when that's a big time, or I don't know, big time rivalry. It's definitely a rivalry, someone that's close by. We talked about this. I got Dave Campbell's in front of me too. I don't know how much your kids look at that, but about one of the onlys that predicts high school football on this kind of level. But they got you number 2 behind Jordanton from last year, who won the same district, right? What is your expectation? You know, we talked about December football. I mean, it's win district, all that good stuff. I mean, we're still striving there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, and Dave Campbell's, they're spot on. Like Jordanton has won district for the last 4 years in a row. Last year it was a 3-way tie with us, Jordanton, and Crystal City. But until somebody knocks them off, then they're sitting at the top. You know, Crystal beat Jordanton last year. We beat Crystal, and Jordanton beat us. So we ended up in that 3-way tie. They're spot on. And our district, it did change a little bit. We actually dropped Bandera a couple of years ago, but we keep playing them in non-districts. We lost Cole, and we picked up Divine. We picked up Carrizo because both of them dropped from 4A down to 3A, and Natalia came up from Division 2 to Division 1. Now, how different is that? We've been playing Divine non-district. That's our big rival. We've been playing Carrizo non-district. They used to be in our district, both of them. And we scrimmaged Natalia.
All right. I'm sorry. The school must have caught on to you all of a sudden. You got blocked.
They said no more. I just hope it uploaded before they blocked all of us, Coach. I mean,
oh man,
no, I think it'll be okay. I hope so. But some last couple ones, we've gotten some good stories. So we started this one with Coach Miller, and Emilio was kind of reminiscing on some old things that happened when he played, and Coach Miller was coaching Woodsboro down there, and they had an onside fumble, or they had an onside kick, right, that Lakey failed to pick up, and they ran it back for a touchdown and ended up winning the game on that. Do you have any good story like that comes to mind?
Gosh, like for me in particular, or like just being in Hondo?
Just in particular. It could be anywhere. Yeah, I mean.
Oh man, I don't know. I will say my very first game, we were playing Marion. We were down the whole game, and we came back. I think we were down 21 at half or something like that. We come back with about 2-3 minutes to go, and we score a touchdown. And decision, like, tie the game or go for 2, right? And I just felt like, man, we hadn't been. We've clawed our way back. Everybody, we got guys that are cramping. Like, we got to go for 2. I don't think we can win this thing in overtime, right? So we go for 2. We don't get it, unfortunately. So we lose the game by 1. Monday morning, the kicker walks in and quits. And I'm like, why are you quitting? And he's like, well, you don't trust me to kick PATs. Like, you don't trust I can make it. I'm quitting. I'm like, no, like, you don't understand. But, so I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but we had to go find another kicker.
That's awesome. That's good. Oh, man. All right. Last one to finish it up here. And this is just a full staple. When I say Hondo football is, how do you finish that sentence?
Well, I'd probably go with tradition. I really do. And that's cliche or whatever, but started in 1912. There's a whole lot of tradition. There is a whole lot of pride. We still have, the trophies out from many, many, many years ago and whatnot. Our field, if you've never been there, it has, I'm going to call it a fence around it. It's really like an iron gate thing. What it was a World War II emergency landing strip that the government put in a base out here to help practice emergency landings and stuff. And so when they shut that down, they picked up that emergency landing strip and put it around the field. And that's just one example of lots of things that have been done around here. And you just kind of look around and go, man, there's a lot of pride, a lot of tradition in this program. And we had that big talk a couple of days ago with the team, that there's been a lot of people, a lot of sweat and blood and things that have gone into this program over the years. And we're not just going to entrust that to anybody. We're going to entrust those that are going to carry it with pride. But yeah, so probably tradition.
That's I'm ready to run through a brick wall for that
Hell,
one.
Coach, I'm ready to put on a helmet. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, yeah, there you go. Let's go. Get your one play in.
That's time. Yeah, there you go. That's probably all I can handle right now. Well, Coach, we greatly appreciate you joining us. Best of luck the whole season. Hopefully, maybe we can hop back on together at some point during the season, and we're talking about an undefeated season and all that good stuff, and getting you deep in the playoffs. So we do hope that for Hondo and everything. So
yes, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all having us.
This has been an episode of In-Laws and Out of Bounds, another local spotlight. We appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you next time.